All right. I had a bad day yesterday. No, wait. Not a bad day. Hold on. I did a lot of ice breaking yesterday, and my back is fucked bad today. And it's not the end of the world. It'll be fine for too long, I guess. It always is. But today is not going to be any kind of a productive day for me. So I'm sitting here thinking about what's wrong with the world, thinking about what's wrong with the young folks, thinking about what's wrong with Hollywood. And I thought to myself, you should do some reading from the good book today. That'll do your heart and your soul some good. So I'm gonna say this. I may butcher some of these people's names because I'm not that great at reading. But no one else is even saying these people's names, so I guess it's better to fucking hold them up a little bit and butcher their name because you don't read good than it would be to ignore them like everybody else does. My question to you is, how come you never saw Hollywood produce this? All right, you ready? Bow your heads. Anderson would not be held back. Ordering a charge, he led it himself furiously, and was 50 feet ahead of every follower when he was killed. Next to him was William Smith, a veteran guerrilla of 4 years' service. 5 balls struck him, 3 struck Anderson. Next to Smith was John Maupin, who was wounded twice, and next to Maupin, Cliff Clandiff, I guess we'll go with that, who was also hit, and next to Clandiff, Asbury got 4 bullets through his clothes. John Holt, Jim Crow Chilies, and Peyton Long had horses killed. The 3 Hill brothers, Dick West, and 10 others of Anderson's old company fought their way up to Anderson's body and sought to bring it out. Tuck Hill was shot, his brother Hoot and West. Their wounds were severe but not mortal. Once they succeeded in placing it upon a horse, the horse was killed and fell upon the corpse and held it to the ground. Still struggling heroically over the body of their idolized commander, Hank Patterson fell dead, not a foot from the former dead guerrilla. Next, Simmons was killed, and then Anson Tolliver. You see what I'm saying? And then Paul Benderhorst. You could put a gun to my head, I couldn't tell you what that fucking name was. And then Smith Job, and then Luckett, and then John McClavel, and then finally Jasper Moody and William Tuckton. Nothing could live before the fire of the concealed infantry and the Spencer carbines of the cavalry. A single blanket may have covered the terrible heap of dead and wounded who fought to recover all that remained of the tiger of the jungle. John Pringle, the red-headed giant of the Boonesville Scalps, far ahead of his company, was the last man killed. Struggling even to the death to bear back the corpse, he was a captain of a company and a veteran of the Mexican War, but he did what he would not order his men to do. He rushed up to the corpse heap and fastened about the leg of Anderson a lariat that he might drag the body away. The Federals killed his horse. Shot once, he tugged at the rope himself, bleeding pitifully. Shot again, he fell, struggled to his feet, and fired every barrel of 3 revolvers into the enemy, and received, as a counterblow, 2 bullets. This time he did not rise again, nor stir, nor moan. All of the wild boar blood in his veins had been poured out, and the bronzed face, from being rigid, had become to be august. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know what the fuck that means. I wish people would be more honest in this fucking world than they are. That part about be more august, I don't know what be more august means. Now someone else would look it up and then talk about it like they fucking knew what it meant. I ain't like that. I'll just be fucking playing with you people. Don't know what it means, but it sounds cool. Joseph and Arch Nelson, William James, Cecil Miller, and John Warren All young recruits in their first battle fought savagely in the melee, and all were wounded. Miller among those Miller among those who strove to rescue the corpse of Anderson was shot, and Warren, wounded 4 times, crawled back from the slaughter pen with difficulty. Anderson was a strange man. If the waves of the Civil War had not cast him up as the avenger of one sister assassinated and another maimed, he would have lived through it peacefully. The devil that existed within him sleeping on, and the terrible powers latent there remaining unaroused. It is probable that he did not know his own nature. He certainly could not have anticipated the almost miraculous transfiguration that came to him on the eve of his first engagement. That sort of transfiguration which found him a stripling and left him a giant. He was a pensive, brooding, silent man. He rarely made manifest anything especially individually in dealing either with the citizens or with his own soldiers. If he said yes or no, it was though a pyramid had uttered it. There's a reason I'm reading this to you. Just wait till we get to the end of this. It is as though a pyramid had uttered it. The resolution was unalterable. He went to war to kill. And when this self-declared proposition was once well impressed upon his followers, he referred to the subject no more. Generally, those who fought him were worsted, in a majority of instances annihilated. He was the devil incarnate in battle, but he had been heard over and over again to say, "If I cared for my life, I would have lost it long ago. Wanting to lose it, I cannot throw it away." And this would appear from the history of his career up until the time of his death, that what in most men might have been regarded as fatalism was but the inspiration of palpable destiny. Mortal bullets avoided him at desperate odds. Fortune never deserted him. Surrounded, he could not be captured. Outnumbered, he could not be crushed. Surprised, it was impossible to demoralize him. Baffled by adversity, or crippled and wrought upon often by the elements. I don't know what the fuck just happened to my brain there. He wearied no more than this is one I don't get. The plot that the oxen pulls. I imagine that's like a fucking plow. Or upon the lightning strike. Shot dead from his saddle, at last in a charge reckless beyond all reason. None triumphed over him, a captive before the work was done. Of the fetters and I'll be honest with you, I don't know what the fuck that is. And the rope. Oh, the fetters and the rope. We should look into fetters. I bet fetters are fucking cool. His body, however, remained in the hands of the enemy, who dragged it for some distance as 2 mules might drag a sawn log. How are we doing for time? Not good. I thought someone was coming. All right. We'll just fucking bounce ahead here to the important part. Lieutenant Archie Clements, just turned 18, succeeded to the command of Anderson's old company, and moved with it after the fight directly to Brunswick and Charlton. Ain't saying that right either. Where he crossed the Missouri River and proceeded to the south, cool-headed, weary, vigilant, and created especially for a soldier. Clements had long before given ample evidence of the skill and dash that were preeminently a part of his military character. He wore in all the fullness of its old, unsparing proportions the mantle of Anderson, and killed just as thoroughly and as remorselessly. South from Brunswick, Some 3 days' march, Clements overtook Captain Grooms of Shelby's brigade, who was hastened forward with 54 recruits. Clements proposed to join forces with Grooms and travel south together, the one command mutually strengthening and giving support to the other. The Confederates refused to have anything to do with the guerrillas. And as a consequence, Groom and his entire detachment were overwhelmed and cut to pieces. They fought to the last man, but they fought a hopeless battle. Not a soldier of the 54 escaped. Clements kept accurately the number of Federals killed on this trip and the account of the ways that they were killed in a singular and sanguinary diary, and reads about as follows. Quote, shot, 152. Throats cut, 20. Hung, 17. Oh, wait. Yeah. Oh, hung, 76. Shot and scalped, 33. Shot and mutilated, 11. Grand total, 292. Every Federal killed, save alone for those killed in open fighting, were made acquainted with the reason why he was slain after he had surrendered. Good or bad, the reason was the same. True or untrue, it made none of the victims more content to die. In Anderson's command, there were probably 50 men who had formed what was known as the Brotherhood of Death. To become a member of it, one had to swear that he would avenge the killing of a brother no matter how killed, or when, or where. Each member had all companions in arms upon whom the pact was especially binding, and who could become the most direct obligant thus imposed, make the law that much the more certain of enforcement. Well, my brain just shut off there. To revenge the killing of Anderson, these 292 Federal soldiers were slain in all forms and fashion from the Missouri River to the Red River. It was to give them a good reason for cutting their throats and blowing their brains out that Clements caused to be related to each of them the history of the Brotherhood and the obligations of its organization. All right, kids, there's your reading for the day. Fuck you all.